You are listening to Living with ADHD and CPTSD, available on Apple Podcasts and other podcast platforms. Everyone, and welcome to another episode of Living with ADHD and CPTSD. Today's episode, we are going to talk about brain fog in ADHD adult brains. So, brain fog is like that where you just don't feel like you're there or you're all here. You feel like you're kind of off in your own little world, or you're not able to think or focus or do any real constructive work, and time can just kind of slip by quickly without realizing it. So I'm going to read about brain fog, and hopefully this will be very educational for everybody. I know I have a tendency to have brain fog at moments. So I will read some information about brain fog with ADHD and then have a discussion on my own problems that I always seem to have with brain fog and ADHD. Okay, so you know that feeling that you have cobwebs in your brain where it is hard to think clearly? You feel like you are walking around in a fog and it takes you a while to process what is going on around you. You might find it difficult to concentrate, but not because you are distracted. It is more because your thoughts simply won't come together. You might feel like you are moving inside a dream. When you are forced to concentrate, you find it exhausting. Some people describe it simply as a fuzzy brain. If this description sounds a bit like how you feel, Russell Barkley and other researchers have a name for it: concentration deficit disorder. In the past, it has also been referred to as sluggish cognitive tempo, but Barkley feels this term is derogatory and offensive and prefers the term CDD, or concentration deficit disorder. He sees this as a second attention disorder that is distinct from yet overlaps with ADHD. Although there is no official diagnosis of CDD, researchers have attributed the following symptoms to it. Here are the symptoms of CDD. Excessive daydreaming, trouble staying alert or awake in boring situations, easily confused, stares a lot, spacey feeling like in a fog or mind continually wandering, lethargic, more tired than others, underactive or hypoactive, slow moving or sluggish, doesn't process questions or explanations accurately or as quickly as others, apathetic or withdrawn, lost in thoughts, slow to complete tasks, lacks initiative or effort fades. In the past, this type of diagnosis was often given to people who have trouble focusing or paying attention, but did not exhibit any hyperactivity or impulsivity. Many would be considered hypoactive. While it sounds similar to inattentive type ADHD, Barkley believes that there are some differences, but while there is so overlap, daydreaming, lost in thoughts, slow to complete tasks, lack of initiative, he believes that this is a separate attention disorder, related yet distinct. As with ADHD, however, the symptoms do not correlate with a lower cognitive function or intelligence. Because it is distinct from ADHD, however, it is possible to have both ADHD and CDD. For example, Barkley indicates that 54% of those diagnosed with ADHD, predominantly inattentive type, also have CDD. Because there is no official diagnosis, there is no official diagnostic criteria for CDD. Barkley suggests that if a child exhibits 3 of the 12 symptoms listed with a degree of impairment from the symptoms, then this might be cause for diagnosis. For adults, this would be 5 of 9 symptoms. Unfortunately, the lack of research in CDD means there isn't much available information on what treatment works best, especially in adults. The research has shown that stimulant medications do not seem to be a significant improvement in symptoms in children with CDD. It is not known if cognitive behavioral therapy will work. It does not have much success with ADHD, but since this is distinct from ADHD, it might help. However, people with CDD are more likely to have anxiety and or depression, and CBT works well to combat these disorders, so could be very helpful for adults with CDD. Other medications that might help include atomoxetine, an ADHD medication but works to help reduce anxiety, modafinil if CDD is a disorder of arousal, or clomipramine, or fluvoxamine if CDD is related to OCD. If there isn't any diagnosis or preferred treatment, what are you supposed to do when you are drowning in your mental fog? The following are suggestions from different forums and blogs. The blog Working with ADHD suggests taking a brisk walk, going to the gym, or running up and down the steps several times. Make sure you exercise every day. Get a good night's sleep. Drink a glass of water. Have a cup of coffee. One of the members of Working with ADHD, Marcia, offers what works for her. Stand up, shake your arms, and give yourself marching orders. Say aloud what you need to do, essentially ordering yourself to get it accomplished. Set a time limit, such as, I will work on this for 30 minutes. Set a timer and force yourself to do it. On Reddit, some forum members have suggested to take 15 minutes to engage in something mentally stimulating that you enjoy. Monitor your sleep habits. Not getting enough sleep can make your brain fog increase, but sleeping too much can do the same thing. Try to sleep 7 to 8 hours a day, or whatever amount you found works best for you. The trick is to be consistent. Change your environment. Sometimes a simple relocation will help. That means get off the couch or out of bed and try completing whatever task in a new environment. Have something to eat, preferably something healthy, but several members did indicate chocolate was a favorite. Write. Keep a diary of what you are thinking when you are in a brain fog. It will help you organize your thoughts and force your brain to start working. Okay, so yeah, brain fog is definitely something that a lot of people I have heard like online through videos and Twitter, where there's plenty of people who are talking about their ADHD and their symptoms, where they just feel like they can't do anything. Like their brain just doesn't function. It's not online. They're missing information. They're having such a hard time thinking about the simplest, functions and tasks that they are working on. And I know from a personal aspect, it does feel like you just can't go anywhere. Like nothing's working. Everything is just kind of blah or non-functional, and you are really out of it. Like that, it's not a technical term being out of it, but it's very blunt and very true when you actually think about it. It's one of those things that a lot of people suffer from because their brain just feels kind of goes and blah, So you have to find a way to recognize the symptoms, right? And just know what you need to do. Like the tips that they were giving in the information was definitely good. So it's something that you could look at. And I would definitely recommend doing that. So here's a few other things that we can definitely talk about. And what I'm going to do here is we're just going to go over some more information about brain fog with ADHD. And hopefully we'll be able to get into some more, definitive information on it. Here are some tips and strategies for ADHD and brain fog that I think would be very good. So, ADHD is often associated, of course, with poor behavior and learning disabilities, neither of which is fair. These stereotypes, along with the belief that mood altering medications are the only way to control the condition, and lead many to resist or reject an ADHD diagnosis even when symptoms fit. ADHD, of course, is actually a neurobehavioral disorder involving an imbalance in brain chemistry that impairs brain function. Deficiencies of specific neurotransmitters, the brain's chemical messengers, alter the way information in the brain is passed around and can affect attention span, the ability to control emotions and impulses, and executive functions like organization. Those with hyperactive ADHD say they can't slow their brains down, while those with inattentive variety often describe it as a constant brain fog that makes concentration and recall more difficult than it should be. Functional medicine has a variety of ways to cope with ADHD that don't involve medicines or their side effect. We attack it holistically with nutrition, supplementation, testing, and enhancement of the microbiome, as well as a number of helpful coping strategies for minimizing the frustration and life disruptions that often accompany it. All right, here we go. Make sleep a priority. Lack of quality sleep can affect even those who don't have ADHD or experience brain fog. But research shows that ADHD is linked to disruptions in normal circadian rhythm function that can lead to trouble falling and staying asleep, waking refreshed, trouble relaxing at bedtime. Because getting enough sleep is vitally important for memory, cognition, focus, and emotional health, symptoms of ADHD are exacerbated without adequate rest and repair. It is very important to keep sleep-wake routines consistent. Get plenty of physical exercise and avoid stimulants past a certain time of day, which may vary by individual. Keep a planner and working list. Whether hardbound copy on your phone, write down appointments and commitments as soon as you make them so you're less likely to forget. Because impulsivity often makes it easy to say yes to requests without thinking about the consequences to the rest of your schedule. Review your current list before adding to it. But if you accept, prioritize obligations according to what needs to be done now, in the next few days, and at some point. Going over the next day's schedule the night before helps you plan. Your working list is a dynamic document where you jot down creative ideas or tasks that pop up into your head. People you need to call, or the solution to a problem you've been having that you can't get to right away. Journaling these ideas will relieve anxiety associated with possibly forgetting them and free up brain space for other tasks when you get back to it. Determine which additions stay and which aren't as important as you thought. Keep both your planner and lists in a safe place where you can always find them. Control the chaos. Brain fog makes it hard enough to remember where you put things, so an organized environment where important items like keys, glasses, and necessary papers are always in their place, making things easier. Avoid sitting things down where they don't belong, even if you are distracted by something else, because chances are you won't be able to find it later. And set frequent alarms. Some believe inattentive ADHD is misnamed because people who have it can become hyper-focused on things in which they are particularly interested, often to the point they lose all track of time. Setting alarms to make sure your favorite tasks don't consume too much of your day can be helpful, while those same alarms set for undesirable duties can keep you focused, while offering subconscious assurance that those tasks won't last forever. While these and other strategies are proven to help people navigate their brain fog and live successfully with ADHD, they can seem overwhelming at times, so don't be afraid to ask for assistance when needed. Consider hiring someone to help with decluttering or even occasional house cleaning to keep things straight and organized. If regular sleep seems elusive, even with a commitment to sleep hygiene practices, talk to someone about ADHD-associated sleep disorders or about creating habits that lead to a better night's rest. And if you suspect nutrition, food sensitivities, or an imbalanced gut microbiome could be a trigger for some of your symptoms, look into integrative nutritional counseling or food sensitivity testing. There are holistic help for ADHD symptoms, and yeah, like you don't always have to take medication, but this is definitely a way of going about it. Although, to be honest, medication does tend to be a little more successful when it comes to helping deal with this. All right, everybody, I am going to take a break. And then when I get back, I will continue discussing brain fog with ADHD and go over my own experiences and issues that it causes in my life. Okay, everybody, talk to you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Living with ADHD and CPTSD. Again, we are talking about brain fog with ADHD. So I have something to talk about just before I get into my own personal experiences with brain fog. And this is something that I think would be very informative for you guys and gals out there who are dealing with constant brain fog and ADHD issues. It's how to try and beat brain fog. So here we go. It is how to feed your brain to beat ADHD brain fog. Garbage in, garbage out. True for computers, for your brain, and for your ADHD brain fog. They say you are what you eat. To the extent that's true, you'd want to eat lots of brain foods and steer clear of stupid foods, right? Right. So if you want to beat the frustrating ADHD brain fog so many of us adults have, ADHD adults to be more specific, experience, we need to sort out the brainy from the stupid, because there's a lot of stupid on the food shopping list of the average American and Canadian and Brit and everybody else. Diving into the importance of feeding your brain in maximum focus and productivity and to fight your ADHD brain fog. I don't know about you, but growing up, most of my food came from out of a cardboard box. Breakfast was toaster pizzas, or if I was lucky, a Carnation instant breakfast. Artificial eggnog flavor was my favorite. Keep in mind, this is a write-up. This isn't my actual life, okay? And lunch was peanut butter and mayo on white Wonder Bread. Ugh, I can see how that's tasty. But anyways, and it's not that my family was poor. We just had very poor knowledge about how simple carbs and processed foods can sabotage academic success. My diet meant I had little fuel for my brain. And sadly, the idea that a donut or a croissant, again, all simple carbs, was a meal lingered well into my 30s, where I struggled as an ad executive with undiagnosed adult ADHD. Then I learned the difference between brain foods and stupid foods, and that you can hack your brain with your diet choices to beat the ADHD brain fog and increase your productivity. To do so effectively, it is important to stop eating the foods of the past. Two food categories in particular are fast losing traction in the marketplace, and for good reason. First is refined sugars, or sugars that have been stripped of their fiber. Our brains and bodies are not set up to deal with refined sugar, including and especially high fructose corn syrup. Refined sugar is a toxin. The liver cannot deal with it, yet the average American consumes 130 pounds of sugar a year. That is crazy. That's just unbelievable. That is why 1/3 of Americans have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, most who don't realize it. Indications that refined sugar is on its way to becoming a food of the past. Per capita soda sales are down 25% since 1998. Orange juice, once part of a healthy breakfast, but now seen as an unhealthy carrier of fiberless sugar, that is down 45% in the same period. Sales of packaged cereals, just boxes of sugar and carbs, are down more than 25% since 2000. And here's why your brain should be happy to say bye-bye to sugary foods. Fructose targets the reward center in the brain, so you jones for more junk food like, well, a junkie, and you get no sustained mental stamina from it. The second group, likely to be relegated to the dustbin of dietary history, is those foods in the center of the supermarket. The biggest food marketers, from Kraft to Nestle to General Mills, who make boxed, cans, and jarred food products, are getting their butts kicked by the store perimeter. The marketers have profited for generations on cheap, shelf-stable foods that make up most of the typical supermarket square footage. But the consumer is now avoiding these fake food aisles and sticking to the refrigerated perimeter where the real food is. Here's why your brain should be happy to say bye-bye to the store's center. Most shelf-stable foods are loaded with simple carbs, artificial flavors and preservatives, and a fraction of fresh foods' nutrient quality. Here's a good rule of thumb from a top researcher in this field. If you see a food advertised on TV, don't eat it. If you want it or needed it, they wouldn't have to advertise it. If it's advertised on TV, don't eat it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, exactly. Some simple diet solutions to beat ADHD brain fog. In my award-winning Crusher virtual coach videos, I teach 10 strategies for busy-brained people to escape the overwhelm, and the very first strategy I teach I call Feed Your Brain. Why is this taught first? Because so many of us are eating poop that turns our brains into poop, and we can't learn new productivity strategies with poop for brains. You can't learn new productivity strategies when your brain is bogged down with stupid food. And it doesn't take a lot of effort to get the crap out of your diet and let the good stuff in. Here are 4 easy to remember diet principles essential to the brain. Sugar sucks. Carbs kill. Protein is power. Omegas are mega. Sugar sucks. Fact. Sugar and junk foods create a quick blast of energy, but then metabolize away, leaving you with an energy crash. And guess what happens after that crash? You look for another energy blast and grab another piece of sugary crap, never getting any sustained mental energy. I love this. So, if you're eating a glazed donut for breakfast, you are kicking your own ass down the street. This is such a great article. I'm going to have to read this more often. Anyway, continuing. Carbs kill. Fact. Simple carbs are much like sugar in that they create a burst of energy that's short-lived and then leave you in the mental gutter. Now, carbs don't really kill. In fact, you can't live without them. But stay away from simple carbs, easily remembered as white foods, white bread and pasta, white rice, white potatoes. Hunt down complex carbs instead. Whole grain breads and cereals, brown rice, yams. I do eat a lot of yams and brown rice. And I haven't had a lot of bread lately, but I do have whole grain whenever I eat bread. It's very true about what they say. Protein is power. Fact. The brain makes a variety of chemical messengers or neurotransmitters to regulate, among other things, alertness. Protein triggers alertness-inducing neurotransmitters that help you focus. You get quality proteins from fish, lean meat, beans, eggs, dairy, and protein drinks or powders. And if you use protein drinks or powders, make sure they're not loaded with sugar, because sugar sucks. This is so good. Oh, wow. Omegas are mega. Fact. Certain fatty acids, like the omega-3s and the omega-6s found in cold water fish, can improve brain function and memory. So, get more essential omega fatty acids. To get these and protein, snack on walnuts, pistachios, pine nuts, and sardines. Ugh. Well, okay. Then chow down on salmon, tuna, and avocados. Yeah, avocados are awesome. And tuna too. Salmon is really good. I'm not a big fan of sardines. And here's a bonus. Zimb6, ZIMB6, zinc, iron, magnesium, and vitamin B6. These are all shown to enhance brain function. Their food sources are many, but keep it simple and just buy some high quality supplements. So, all you need to know about diet for right now is sugar sucks, carbs kill, protein is power, omegas are mega, and Zimby 6. Take this action step to start beating ADHD brain fog. I feel strongly about this, and so should you. Strongly enough to take some action on behalf of your starving, food-abused brain. On a clean sheet of paper, right across the top, headings for the following 5 columns: breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and indulgences. List under each one of the foods you most often eat. Then take a step back, scan the whole sheet, and circle those foods that violate our principles of sugar sucks, carbs kill, protein is power, and omegas are mega. Now, picture each one you've circled in your mind with a big red X through it. Then stab it, run it over with your car, get out of the car, and stab it again. Repeat this exercise with all poisons. This is so awesome. In closing, now that you know the basics of how to keep your brain properly fed for optimal function and overall wellness, perhaps this old adage will have new meaning. Garbage in, garbage out. Keep that brain fed right, and whatever in your way will be yours to crush. Amazing. Yes, very true. I 100% agree with this. This should be something that I wish more people would understand, is that diet is what's causing so many problems, not just with ADHD and brain fog, but in many areas. And it's a wonder that there aren't more people out in the world who aren't dying faster of medical illnesses and diseases like heart disease and cardiovascular disease and dementia and all these other stuff because of the crap that they're eating on a daily basis. Going out and eating fast food, eating pizzas all the time, always eating processed foods, making craft dinner daily. I know there are some people who do this, and I get it. Not everybody can afford to get foods and prep them and eat healthy day after day. We do it. She has to, and I'm the one who eats with her, and I have to say I love eating healthy. One thing that I will want to say is about 3.5 years ago, I weighed an incredible 244 pounds. And I said to myself, after I went to the doctor and got a big shock, that I am going to start eating healthy, I am going to exercise, and I am going to lose weight. Well, I did. I went to the pool almost every day. I swam. I ate properly. I cut out a lot of shit like Coke, pop, which is cola, sugars. Well, for the most part, I wasn't 100% perfect, but I ate healthier. I did more prepping. I cooked, and by about November of 2019 or 2018 into 2019, I was down to 204 pounds. I had lost 40 pounds. I had a few things that occurred that unfortunately stopped me from exercising as much as I would. I sprained my ankle pretty severely in December, and it stopped me from swimming for just over a month. And I do remember that it really kept me back. And I maintained the weight for a bit. I did gain a bit back, but I was also dealing with, of course, my CPTSD and ADHD, so I was having some problems with my system, and I did gain a bit back, but I only got to 212. And then this July, my girlfriend and I moved in together, and I started losing more weight, and I am now down to 189.6 pounds. And I eat healthy almost every day. I do snack a little bit, but 9 out of 10 times we eat healthy. We we prep all our food and we cook it, and we have the three main meals, which is a protein like meat, like fish, chicken, turkey, beef. Then we also sometimes eat vegetarian type meals. We have our starches, so like sweet potatoes, pasta, rice, oppo squash, which is really good, by the way. I definitely recommend you try that. And then we have our vegetables. So, broccoli, cauliflower, squash, or sorry, not squash, excuse me, zucchini, peas, corn, not corn. Well, you get the idea. Healthy vegetables. So we've been doing this for a while, 7 months now on a daily basis, except for the odd time. We do order out a healthy Vietnamese once a week, and we have definitely improved. Like my health and my diet has vastly improved. I do need to try and eat more rich fatty acid foods for my brain and other foods that are good for my brain. I have been trying. It is definitely difficult, but I definitely recommend it. That's the thing, is that a lot of people out there don't have time or are very bad when it comes to eating healthy. They really don't do it well. And a lot of people think that they actually do, when the reality is they really don't. And they just don't know that they're not eating healthy. Like, I'm not saying that they're eating really bad or eating poorly. Some people are. Obesity in the US and Canada are very high, but there are some people out there that definitely eat healthy, whether it's by choice or by force due to dietary issues or health issues. But yeah, fatty acids, stuff like that for your brain are really important. And the funny thing is you don't need to have dairy. I haven't had dairy in a very long time. I can't remember the last time I actually had milk and cheese. I do eat eggs once every week or two, but that's for breakfast. I don't have yogurt. I don't have cottage cheese. I hardly have any dairy at all. I don't eat bread. The odd time maybe I do, but I definitely don't eat bread on a regular basis, and I've noticed a difference for sure. Now, here's the thing, my own brain fog, as I was going to talk about. Sorry for the rant there on the food. I sometimes wake up in the morning, and if I haven't had the greatest sleep, and I struggle with sleep. I have struggled a lot. But sometimes I just have where I can go for a half hour or an hour or more, and my brain just isn't acting right. Like, I'm missing things. I'm not thinking clearly. I'm being like sloppy or like running into things, not being quite careless. And sometimes I can't complete my sentences, or I'm not thinking straight, or I can't think at all. I'm slow to respond to questions. I make no sense sometimes. And sometimes, like, if you're looking, like, I have this problem where I do sometimes look at my screen, my computer screen, because of my work a lot during the day, and I forget to take breaks. My brain kind of just has this moment for a while where it's like I'm zoning out, or I'm just not there. And sometimes fresh air, a good walk, some exercise, or eating something, or even drinking some water really helps. Water is definitely important, and I notice that I do have a lot of instances. Usually it's first thing in the morning, just after a nap, like a 20-minute nap. My brain just doesn't want to function. And it's, again, there's like that fog. It just doesn't feel normal, and I feel like I'm just not complete, not there. And sometimes, like, even at night when I'm tired, my brain just starts to go into a fog. It's a very consistent problem that has occurred, and I try my best to avoid it. moving around, getting exercise, taking breaks, um, sometimes even listening to music for a long period of time can start to make my brain just wear out, and then I have a great deal of fog in my head where I'm just not there and I'm not thinking. It is difficult to notice it sometimes, although I've been so much better lately with realizing that I'm having an issue with brain fog and I'm not being my normal self. And it is something that you really need to understand and recognize. It is a big deal because people with ADHD, they will get this a lot because of the fact that their brain just doesn't want to work all the time. If we're not in pristine condition, we don't get the right amount of sleep, we don't get the right amount of food, we're not getting the exercise, we're not taking the supplements, we're not feeding our brain the proper energy and the proper, the right amount of oxygen, and we're not getting that exercise and feeling healthy, our brains are very susceptible to breaking down and confusion and incompletion, like not feeling yourself and having that issue of just not being there when you should be is a very common thing. And I'm sure a lot of you out there who suffer from ADHD are experiencing this quite often. Some of you who are really having a good handle on your ADHD probably don't have this nearly as much as a lot of people, but it's not, I don't think you can 100% get rid of it. It is still going to happen. It's just the key is reducing the number of times that it occurs or the severity of it when it does happen. That's really important. So I definitely think you should look at a lot of the keys. Proper exercise on a regular basis, eating healthy, changing your diet, like they said in the this thing I read. Get rid of the sugars. Get rid of the simple carbs. Eat healthier. Eat better. Drink water, and get your sleep. Like, what good is it if you're not getting enough sleep? Like, I get that some people have problems sleeping, for whatever reason. I know, but it doesn't mean that you can't go to bed early or try to get a decent 8 hours of sleep and feel refreshed. Like, you need to kind of have a routine set in a way to regulate your system so that you feel more like yourself on a regular basis rather than not. So it does, and the funny thing is it can take a while for you to respond to the treatment that you're putting yourself through as well. You really got to work hard at it, and it's a lot harder for people with ADHD to do it. I know, I'm obviously one of them. So yeah, I'm much better lately when it comes to knowing about the fact that I'm suffering from an episode of really horrible brain fog. And everybody, if you're doing the right things and you're taking care of yourself, you're less likely to have it occur, and you can eliminate a lot of the instances that it happens in your daily life. And you got to feel good about yourself, right? You've got to feel healthy. You've got to feel energetic. You got to feel confident about yourself. That's very helpful too, in order to feel less likely to have an episode of brain fog, because it affects everybody, not just yourself, but it can affect your work. It can affect your relationship that you're in. It could be even dangerous. Can you imagine driving around having brain fog? Ooh, that's very dangerous. That you could get into an accident, and that is not a good thing. You don't want to have that and have brain fog occurring, because it's going to impair you, and it could be a lot like being overtired or feeling sick or, God forbid, drunk, right? Like, you got to find a way to minimize these effects. Yeah, it's hard, but you can do it, guys. We all can do it if we just put our ADHD minds to work and try hard and get help from people in your life, because I'm sure they'd be willing to help you maintain and work hard towards getting this into your system on a daily basis. And you'll notice the improvement, and it'll be motivation for you to continue doing it more and more. All right, that's it. That's today's episode. I hope you liked it. Stay tuned tomorrow for a CPTSD related episode. If you have any information, they did mention Russell Barkley, the psychiatrist, in the episode. Check him out on YouTube. He's got a lot of great videos on there. Give me a shout. Come find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at ADHDandcptsd. I would love to hear from you. Give me a follow. Come find me. Let's chat. I got a lot of great stuff on there, and I advertise my podcasts on Twitter as well. My website is www.livingwithadhdandcptsd.ca. Excuse me. I am on Ko-fi.com. It is a site that you can donate or tip me to help with funding my software that I use to create and produce these episodes for you. My YouTube page, of course, I do have videos on there as well relating to ADHD and CPTSD, as well as autism. I plan on doing more episodes on autism as well. I just got to get some more information and do some more research, of course. Okay, everybody. I hope you have a great week, and I shall talk to you next weekend. Bye, everyone.